My name is Brendan Anderson. I am the founder and CEO of Climate People. With me today is my wonderful colleague, Aruna Mandalapalli, Natalie Lavery, and I'm really excited to introduce Jonathan Barnes. Jonathan recently took a position as a product manager with one of our ClimateTech customers, and really excited to talk to you a little bit today about your experience going through the process of looking for a job and why you decided to make the move into the climate tech space. So Nat, why don't you kick us off, and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. How was your experience getting a job in climate? Can you just touch a little bit on that?
Sure, yeah. So I would say I started looking for new opportunities on LinkedIn and various other forums a couple of months ago, and I knew that I wanted to do something that involved sustainability, climate, environmental protection, and really, try to do something about this existential crisis of climate change, because that's been nagging at me for a while, and so I was talking to a lot of recruiters who were in fintech and other spaces, and it wasn't interesting to me. So I happened upon Climate People based on a referral from a former colleague of mine. And I started following you on LinkedIn, and I saw a post that Aruna made, and I liked it. She reached out, we connected right before the holidays, and it all happened so quickly. We had a great conversation. She had some great placements that I think are a good fit, and it all kind of went very quickly from there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like you had a little bit of a seamless process, but were there any specific barriers that you noticed, or was it all just kind of smooth sailing?
I would say it was my first time earnestly interviewing for a position in almost 14 years. And so that was a bit scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Aruna did a lot of prep work, making me feel comfortable with the process, guiding me along the way. And so I really appreciated that. Every conversation I had with hiring manager or other people, seemed to go well. And if there were any kind of hiccups along the way, Aruna was there to provide some reassurance and encouragement. So I really appreciated that.
Awesome. Yeah.
So Jonathan, I have a question for you. Maybe removing yourself in your search process,
Sure.
Is there advice that you would have for people, I guess first and foremost, about moving into the space and so for you, this was something that you wanted to do, right? Like you wanted to work for something, and maybe actually start there. Where does that come from for you? Like, why did you feel like you wanted to move into an organization that was doing something for the environment and sustainability?
Yeah. So I knew early on in undergrad, I did a bachelor's in environmental policy, and I just got really excited about doing work around climate policy, or whether it was at the college level, working with the student government or various campus organizations, or looking at what cities are doing and getting excited about climate commitments that were happening and things like that. So I feel like it's always been something I've been very excited about. And it's not something that I've really been able to nurture over the last decade plus. So that became really important to me. I would say what surprised me most is that there's a lot of opportunity out there. There's a lot of opportunity, specifically if you're looking for something that is mission oriented. In the climate space. There are companies all over the place that are looking to hire in tech, and so I think there's a lot of opportunity to have an impact. So
Yeah, that's great. So, obviously you found us, or Aruna found you. What other resources did you find that were useful and helpful for you to find these companies and identify where these opportunities were? Because I know one of the things that I've personally found in my own journey was, before I launched Climate People, I was looking for a recruitment firm that was recruiting in the climate space and specifically for tech roles, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it through my Google searching and a lot of these networking groups, and I certainly couldn't find it on LinkedIn. So were there resources that you found that were really helpful that other people could potentially benefit from?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Climate People is the first recruiting and only recruiting organization centered around climate tech that I was aware of, that I am aware of. But I will say there were some resources like Crunchbase, just being able to use that as a free way of searching. They have very robust keyword searches, so you can search for things like climate or climate change. You may get some HVAC work in there. And then there's also a climate action tech Slack group that I joined, that there are, I want to say a couple thousand people in this Slack group, and it just seems to be growing. And the level of kind of engagement that you have with it is up to you. You can join, you can introduce yourself. They have a whole wiki around, how to navigate, how to ask, how to do the introduction, how to ask for help or tips or coaching. So I found that to be a really helpful resource. I think those two are the ones that stick out most to me.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like also could be putting words in your mouth, but also having the education background, like with the environmental policy too. I'm sure that was like a helpful trajectory to have, because it kind of just pointed you in the right direction. Whereas a lot of the people that we work with kind of have no idea that there's even that space. So like having that pre-existing knowledge, I'm sure was really helpful. So would you mind touching a little bit on the job that you're taking and what you'll be doing?
Sure, I can definitely do that. So I'm going to be working with Indigo Ag, which is very heavily involved with digitizing grain merchandising, which is a whole part of the agricultural sector that I'm not familiar with, but I'm excited to learn more about. Grain merchandising is huge. Grain is in everything. Grain goes into livestock feed, it goes into beer, it goes into food. So it's everywhere in our ag system. And I'm going to be a product manager for the contracting side of this platform. And so I'm really excited. I'm starting in a few days, and excited to meet the team. Everyone that I've met at the company is fantastic, and I'm really excited to get started.
I'm glad that you didn't forget beer.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's a key one.
Beer, very important.
Probably one of the oldest uses of grain, right? I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I think Anheuser-Busch is one of their customers.
Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. So one last thing that we wanted to touch on today is the 1% for the Planet charity. So we, beyond placing people into careers in climate, one of the things that we're really proud of is our partnership with 1% for the Planet, and really trying to amplify some organizations that are doing really great work in the climate fight, and in particular trying to shine a light on organizations that really represent our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And so we've got a few 1% for the Planet charities, and we're going to donate a portion of your placement fee in your name to one of those charities. So who did you decide to donate to?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. Soulfire Farm is a really exciting organization focused on food justice, ending racism, and promoting indigenous community farming. So really excited to contribute to their cause.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Fitting with your new role too. So sticking with the agriculture piece.
Right.
That's awesome. Perfect. Yeah. Well, Jonathan, I think that's all the questions we had for you, unless you had anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap things up.
I don't think so. I mean, just that I just want to say a big thank you to Aruna for just being a fantastic ally and resource. And, I think both of us didn't expect things to go as quickly as they did. But I think that worked out for the best. And I'm really excited to help promote what you all do. And happy to help in any other way that is helpful.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
remember our first conversation, you said, I will start looking in 2 months, Aruna.
Yep.
And
Yep,
it
I
took
did.
15 days to find this job.
Right, our first conversation, and then and you asked if you could share my resume with a hiring manager, and I said sure, of course, not thinking anything would come of it. And I had an interview the next day.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Awesome.